The South African government has appealed for calm following a terror alert issued by the U.S. Embassy. Pretoria says it's noted the alert, and should there be anything alarming, the public will be informed. The alert issued on Wednesday, which was yesterday, warned of a possible terrorist attack targeting large gatherings in the Sandton area without specifying where exactly in Sandton this will likely happen. Let's speak to Willem Els, a terrorism expert with the Institute for Security Studies. Willem, a very good afternoon to you. Thankful for your time. So, in the last, almost 24 hours, has the reaction and the handling of this alert been appropriate?
Good afternoon to you. Yes, that leaves, the reaction leaves, a huge gap in terms of analysis on how it's been handled by all the role players. We must just step back and we must understand that this alert was published by the Americans on their website, where they actually warned American citizens that there is a possible attack, and they also have a consulate in Sandton or in the target area. So that is the background of the alert, that actually then went rogue when it was discovered by the media outlets, and it was then publicized on the media outlets that created some kind of panic within the public of South Africa.
And we're all trying at this moment to talk about this issue as cautiously as possible without causing any unnecessary alarm. What is the right level of alarm when you consider the frequency with which these sort of notices are generated and indeed shared?
First of all, I think the minister also tried to calm people down. This is not a time for panic, because the information is very vague. We don't have solid evidence, and you hardly ever have solid evidence of a pending attack. But when something like this comes through, instead of panicking and spending for running wild, you should just remain calm and then allow the relevant agencies and the authorities to go about doing their work. And we know that if something like this happens, of course, your intelligence agencies will then work overtime in order to catch up and to get more information. We also know that your police services and other reaction services will put in contingencies in place so that they can proactively and also reactively react to an incident should it happen.
With that in mind, the fact that this was a story that broke basically through a U.S. notice to its staff at the embassy and the rest of it in and around Sandton, right? You've now had the Minister and the President, Simondle Kunguela, who's done, I think, about 2 interviews on radio saying, look, we haven't seen detailed information from the Americans about why exactly they've issued this warning and the level of threat possibly to people in the Sandton area. What is an acceptable time frame for information sharing on this sort of intelligence?
It all depends on the information, on the type of information, also when this information came to light. We must just understand that, as I said, the minister is trying to calm down the situation, but we also know that behind the scenes that there is engagement between the different agencies where they are trying to verify, where they are trying to share information and also get to the bottom of this. That is an ongoing process once you discover something like this. But in the meantime, the minister has to calm down the people. We must also understand South Africa, at all our embassies overseas, we also have intelligence contingent that is there, and they are looking after the goodwill and of the people of South Africa that are there. So what happens here is the Americans, they issue a warning. They warn Americans that listen, if you go there might be an attack, etc. So don't go there, refrain from going there. They also withdrew their non-essential personnel. South Africa would have done the very same. America would did the very thing, but also the Brits and the French and every other embassy will do that if there's a threat against their people in a foreign country. That is standard procedure. And so normally what they do is before they then publish something like this, they will go to great length to make sure that they could establish the credibility of the evidence, etc., and also share it with the local authorities before they do that. So we believe that that has happened before they published this alert.
So we've not been told, at least in the notice, about who would be intending to conduct this sort of attack and the reasons why. But what is specific to a degree is the fact that it's expected, according to American intelligence, to target the Sandton area. Not a clear idea of which building or which place of gathering would be attacked, but the date is also specific. They say around Saturday. What then is the appropriate way to continue in the next 2 days or so? Do we just sort of wait and see if there'll be more intelligence? And in the absence of that, do we just wait to see if Saturday will come and go without incident?
Well, if you look at the news outlets, I see the Times Live just published an article where they say that this information actually jeopardized a investigation of them into some ISIS terrorist cells. So that give you an indication that maybe there was something going to happen, or the information was credible. It's just the way that it was dealt with that maybe could have been better. So that on the one hand indicates to us, okay, so there is a credible threat that there might be an attack. So if you don't have to go to those affected areas, don't go there. If you have to go there and you are there, just be on the lookout, be diligent, and your situational awareness should be of such that should you notice anything out of place, that you can notify the authorities in order to respond to that. That is basically what we can do. And then also, if you are in the unfortunate situation that an attack takes place, then we all know that what you have to do, you have to take cover, you have to lay low, and then also listen to the instructions of the first responders, or whether the police or the security personnel on the scene, in order to remain safe.
Willem, sharing such information then and naming a place and a date, is it effective in getting the intended attackers, shall we say, to call off the plan completely, or is it more effective in terms of delaying an attack if indeed, and we're saying this, if indeed there is a legitimate threat?
Yeah, you know, that play both ways. It can deter an attack like that, because as I said in the beginning, you know, the local police, the police will then have put some contingency plans in place. There will be higher visibility and so on. So these terrorists or would-be terrorists will then know that there's the risk increased of them being caught when they do the attack, or even before they do the attack. We must just understand one thing. With the Westgate attack in Kenya, they received credible information or intelligence about a year before the attack that a mall will be attacked. They did not adhere to that intelligence, and they did not put contingency plans in place. 3 months before the attack, they received some more information. Once again, the Kenyan authorities did not respond. And we all know what the outcome of that attack was. So that is why it is wise to react, to put things in place. You know, it is very much like a bomb threat. You don't know whether there is a bomb or whether it is going to explode. But you act as if there is a bomb. You put your things in place. You put all your contingencies in place. If the bomb goes off, you mitigate the attack. But if it was not there, then you gained by getting your people and testing their readiness, and nobody got injured.
We touched on this earlier, the issue of motive and target, right? We're not clear at this stage, nothing confirmed at an intelligence level about whether this, if it's a legitimate threat, would be an attack mainly aimed at hurting South Africans, or, for example, given the number of foreign nationals, when you look at Sandton and that hotel and business space, it would be, as we've seen in places such as Mali, where high-end hotels in Somalia, for example, are hit because there are business people, dignitaries from Western nations, if that is the target. How crucial is it to be able to establish that in the available time?
It is very crucial, and I can assure you that at this very moment, I think the intelligence services are working overtime in order to double up on their gathering of intelligence, verifying, etc., etc. If we look at the events that will be taking place over this period, and we don't say that might be the target, but the only one that is really close to the American consulate in Sandton is the Pride parade that will actually take place right in front of moving. It will move right in front of the American consulate there, and that might be a target. We don't say it will be a target, but that also now warrants an investigation and see how we can further strengthen and make that parade safe against an attack.
Willem Els, fantastic to have your time. Thank you, sir.